Today, we are cracking open the secrets of a group that believes the law isn't a set of rules we all have to follow. No, for them, it's a secret code, and if you can crack it, you'll find a hidden treasure. You've probably seen them online, right? In those viral videos of traffic stops gone wrong. It's your neighbor, the sovereign citizen, and they are absolutely convinced they've found a loophole that makes them immune to the government. We're talking everything from speeding tickets all the way up to federal taxes. But, to really get what's going on here, we have to look past the shouting matches in the courtroom and the broken car windows. We need to understand that they see themselves as being on a quest, a hunt for what they believe is a lost treasure buried deep inside the American legal system itself. Okay, so this is the absolute core of it all. This is the key they think unlocks everything. They see themselves as completely sovereign beings, totally separate from the government. And it's this one powerful idea that sends them on this incredibly complex and often dangerous search for a lost treasure they're sure is their birthright. So where in the world did the map for this treasure hunt even come from? Well, let's just say its history is a whole lot darker and more complicated than many of its followers today even realize. This ideology didn't just pop up overnight. Not at all. It grew and twisted over decades, feeding on economic pain. You can see it right there with the farm crisis in the 80s. And then, boom, the 2008 recession. It latches onto these broader waves of anti-government feeling. Really, every crisis just becomes another recruitment opportunity. And this, right here, gets to the really ugly origins of their treasure map. The movement was founded by a white supremacist minister, and its early ideas were completely tangled up with racism and anti-Semitism. The original theory actually claimed the 14th Amendment, the one that granted citizenship after the Civil War, was a trick to create a second class of citizens, specifically targeting Black Americans. Now, while many people who follow these ideas today aren't openly racist, that original DNA of a secret, illegitimate government is still there. Okay, so let's get into the secret code they think they've cracked. The whole thing hinges on this one incredibly elaborate conspiracy theory about what the United States government really is. So, according to the story, the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871 wasn't just some boring piece of legislation. Oh no, they believe that was the exact moment the real republic was secretly dissolved and replaced by a for-profit corporation, a commercial government that's been pulling the strings from the shadows ever since. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This is how they see the world. They believe every single person has two identities. First, there's the real flesh and blood you, the sovereign being. But then there's the straw man. That's a legal fiction, a corporate shell created by the government when you were born. And you can spot it, they say, because its name is written in all capital letters on your birth certificate. That straw man, that's who gets speeding tickets and pays taxes, not the real you. Believing you've found a secret code is one thing. But using it, that's something else entirely. So let's take a look at how these beliefs actually turn into real-world and often very disruptive actions. They have literally learned to weaponize bureaucracy. They engage in something the FBI actually calls paper terrorism. This means filing bogus property liens against judges and police officers to ruin their credit, creating their own fake common law courts to issue fake arrest warrants, and just completely flooding the real court system with mountains of gibberish paperwork to grind everything to a halt. So here's the bottom line. This isn't just about some quirky beliefs or causing a scene in traffic court. The United States government considers this movement to be a significant domestic extremist threat. And we're not talking about a tiny fringe group here. The Southern Poverty Law Center estimates that there are well over 300,000 people involved in the U.S. alone. That's a huge range, from the hardcore believers all the way to people who are just kind of dipping their toes in and testing out the theories. And this chart, wow. This really puts the threat into perspective. In actual surveys, law enforcement in the U.S. has ranked the risk of terrorism from sovereign citizens as higher than the risk from any other group. That includes militias and foreign terrorist organizations. And that's because this ideology, which tells you that police have no authority, can lead directly to violent and sometimes deadly confrontations. So, you have this deep conviction, this willingness to fight the system. But what actually happens when their treasure maps, all these legal theories, are put to the test in a real American courtroom? They get completely and utterly shut down. Every single time. There has never been a recorded case where these arguments have worked. And why would they? I mean, the entire legal system is based on laws passed by legislatures and precedents set by other courts. Sovereign arguments just ignore all of that, so a judge has absolutely no legal basis to do anything but reject them. Sometimes they'll even add penalties for wasting the court's time.
But here it is. This is the psychological genius of the whole ideology. For a true believer, losing in court doesn't prove that the theory is wrong. No, it proves the judge is in on the conspiracy. It proves the whole system is corrupt. Failure becomes the ultimate proof that they were right all along.
Which brings us to our final reveal. After all of this, the secret history, the paper warfare, the constant courtroom defeats, what is the lost treasure they have been searching for so desperately? It is not some magic phrase you can say to get out of a speeding ticket. It's not a secret trick to just ignore your responsibilities as a citizen. And it is definitely not a secret bank account at the U.S. Treasury with your name on it, just sitting there with millions of dollars waiting for you to file the right piece of paper. The treasure they're really after is the law itself. But it's a version of the law that's been twisted in their minds, from a system of rules that hold society together into a secret, almost magical code that only the chosen few know how to crack. See, the treasure isn't something you can hold. It's a feeling. It's the feeling of having agency, of having control in a world that feels completely out of control. It's the thrill of having secret knowledge, of believing you see the world as it really is. And it's the powerful identity of being a patriot, a hero, fighting a corrupt and illegitimate system. For them, that is the real lost treasure. And that leaves us with one final, pretty heavy thought. In an age where trust in our institutions seems to be hitting rock bottom, this movement really forces us to ask ourselves, where is that line between healthy, necessary questioning of authority and a complete rejection of the reality that we all have to share?